All right. Good morning. Today, on my little podcast, I want to talk to you about something near and dear to my heart. It is that wonderful thing that we all crave so much, which is dopamine. For those of you that are unfamiliar with dopamine, it is a little thing in your brain that chemically is induced by things that make you happy. And sometimes those things are pretty expensive, can be very empty, and it's sometimes hard to come by. So I want to give you a few little bits and pieces that I have started incorporating into my life to help boost that little bit of dopamine that we're all looking for so much. So probably my first thing that I love to do is I wake up and I wash my face, usually with as cold water as possible. It just sort of wakes my body up a little bit. Most people don't have access to this. However, I then jump into the cold plunge, which is just, it's a game changer for me for dopamine and how the rest of my day goes. However, it's expensive, and like I say, not many people have access to that. So if you don't have access to that, don't stress about it. I want to try and give you some fun ones that you can use on a daily basis that are not going to break the bank. However, the first little bit when I do get to go outside is sunshine. So for me, I have always looked at myself like a bit of a solar panel. If I'm not very tanned or I don't have a lot of color, it usually means that I need more sun. I'm pretty tanned as it is, but I do feel like it's my little recharge. So do you remember like when you had those little Duracell batteries and you would push the little buttons on either side and then you would be able to see how much battery life was in there? That's kind of like how I feel sometimes. There's days where that recharge is virtually impossible. But that's okay. It happens. However, the one thing that definitely does help is going outside and looking at the sun. Now, I know that sounds silly, and also please don't go out and like stare directly at the sun. However, there are little things that are going to help you with this. So in order for you to actually get the full benefits of the sun, the less sunscreen the better. Obviously, don't go out there and spend 5 hours out there in the sun. And for all of you pasty little peckerheads, don't go out there without maybe a little bit of sunscreen, or go out there for 5 or 10 minutes. You don't need more than about 5 or 10 minutes, but the sweet spot is about 15. For me, at least 15 minutes of like direct sunlight is beautiful. But looking towards the sun, take your gaze a little bit outside of it, and like kind of like you're staring into the abyss, like you're thinking about something so deep that you wouldn't even know what to do with yourself if you actually figured out what that thing was that you were thinking about. But like stare out towards it, a little bit off to the side, and do that for 3 or 4 minutes, and then look away and then do the same thing again. It literally is triggering your brain to wake up and start doing the thing that it's supposed to be doing, which is it's boosting your serotonin levels, getting your adenosine going, all of those sorts of things. I'll talk about adenosine in a little bit when we get to the further parts in here. But yeah, get rid of your sunglasses, and stand out there like a squinty little weirdo and enjoy the sunlight. It's pretty magical when you do this. It also helps set your circadian rhythm, so your sleep should be a little bit better. The ideal thing to do here is to get up with the sunrise. I know that that's hard for some people, especially if you're waking up at 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. That's not ideal. But if you can push yourself to wake up close to the sunrise, go outside first thing and go and stare at the sun. Also, look far. A really good buddy of mine told me that that's the one thing that he really likes to do, is to go outside and stare as far away as possible. It's something that human beings these days don't really do very much, because we're all on our screens all the time. So, go outside, stare as far as you can. If you live by the beach, go and look at the horizon, go and look at all the little boats out there. If you live in the city, go to the end of your street and look as far as you can. Stare up, stare down, whatever it looks like. Look far. It's good for your eyeballs. So that's the first one. Is some good old sunshine, the OG happy pill. It's like charged by nature. It's really cool. And then, so all of these are dopamine hits on a dime, right? That's the title of this episode, is dopamine hits on a dime. I want people to understand that I wanted to do this as cheaply as possible, because free is fantastic. And I'm all about the free. This podcast is free. Everyone that's listening can listen for free. There's no sponsors. There's no paid advertising or anything like that. However, obviously, I would love it if someone was to sponsor me. But that's another story. Anyway, so the next one, though, is laughter. Now, laughter can be a little bit tougher. But I've found that potentially one of the weirder things and semi-crazy things that I enjoy doing sometimes is laughing at myself. And when I say that, I mean like going and standing in front of the mirror and forcing a little laugh and looking at your stupid face and going, oh my God, you're ridiculous. And then all of a sudden you start laughing and actually enjoying this moment. But if you don't want to do that or anything of that sort of caliber, if you could call it that, my next best thing that I could tell you would be, man, if you like comedy, like go onto Spotify and go and look up Theo Vaughn's, I think it's called Hamster Bag, or 38 Hamster Bag, or something like that. You want to giggle, man, it is the most ridiculous thing ever. But yeah, he's a legend in his own right. I love a good Theo Vaughn special. But that's a really good one for you to go and have a look at. But like, call your buddy, let them know that you're thinking about them, and then start reminiscing about some old school things, because those are always the funny ones. How you fell off a bike, how you, I don't know, that crab pinched your little finger. Speaking of crabs pinching fingers, this is a little giggle for you. So, and reminiscing. So when I was a kid, I'll never forget this. My dad and I were down at the beach, and we were ripping around. I think we were fishing on some rocks or something like that. I get bored because I'm a kid, and I start dicking around with like all of these crabs that are sitting on the walls. And my dad said to me, he said, "Don't play with those crabs." Sounds bad already. It's so stupid. no, he said, don't play with those things. And I was like, oh, well, what do you mean? And he was like, I'm just letting you know that if one of those things bites you, I'm not coming to help you. And I was like, okay, whatever, Dad. Sure as shit, I am poking at this thing with my finger, and wham, it latches onto my finger. And this thing is big. Anyway, it latches onto my finger, and I'm screaming. My dad's laughing, howling, laughing, right? And it's just like there's tears running down my face. There's tears running down my dad's face, but not his face. He's not crying because he's in pain. He's crying because he's laughing so hard. He's warned me about this, and he's trying to tell me to calm down, but this crab is lashed onto my finger, right? So it's on my little finger, and he goes, just put your hand down and I'll hit it with a rock and we'll get rid of it. I'm like, okay. So put it down, and man, this is the part where it was funny. So he grabs this rock and he keeps coming down, and as he comes down to like hit the crab's eyeballs go up, and as its eyeballs go up like this, its little pincer grabs tighter onto my finger. I start screaming even louder. My dad thinks that this is even more funny. So now he just starts doing this over and over again. He's just like, "Ugh! Ugh! Ugh!" And I'm just screaming and crying, and eventually he just giggles and the crab lets go and runs away. And he's like, what did I tell you about that? I'm like, oh, still crying and sobbing. And anyway, that was my little funny story. Although it didn't start off sounding like it was going to be funny. It was like, yeah, anyway. So think of things like that. Think of stories like that make you happy. Think of stories like that make you just want to smile. That's it. The next thing is a really weird one, but if you want to giggle and make a fool of yourself while no one's watching, however, this is a really interesting one if someone does walk in, because they're just going to be like, what are you doing? But kissing the mirror. Yep, kissing the mirror. This is one for the books that makes you really happy, in my opinion. If you're not getting a whole lot of love in the world, the one place that you can always get love is from yourself. So pucker up, little princess or prince, and show yourself some love. Go and kiss the mirror. And I'm not kidding you when I say this. Go to the mirror and give it a big, man, ladies or gentlemen, or whatever you want, put some lipstick on and go and smooch the mirror. Smooch your reflection and tell me that you don't feel a little bit better when you look back at yourself and you go, you are so silly, but makes you feel so good. I think that that's a really fun one. Also free. Then obviously something that is a little bit newer to me. I've been doing it for a long time, but some exercise is always a wonderful way to do it. And I know that you guys are going, oh, but I don't have a lot of time. Okay, so here you go. 15 minutes. This is a very easy one for you. There's no gym membership required. Okay, very, very easy. So we're gonna do body weight squats for 2 minutes. Okay. Pretend you're picking up all of your heavy decisions in your life and then squat them back into the ground. Okay. Do that for 2 minutes. Take a quick 15-second break, and then you're going to go straight into push-ups. Go into push-ups for a minute. If you can't do regular push-ups, go down to your knees and do it that way. Okay. Do that for 1 minute. Take another 15-second break, and then you're going to go high knees. Okay. And you're going to be like a dance party, but with a little bit more coordination, maybe. Who knows? We'll see. 1 minute. Okay. And then you're going to take another 15-second break, and then you're going to go into a plank. Now, hold it together here, just like you're holding a little secret inside. Okay. tense everything, activate your core, do this for 1 minute. If you need to switch over elbows and whatever you need to do, or hands and hands, you choose. 1 minute in a plank. If you can't do 1 minute, do 30 seconds, and then take a little 10-second break, do another 30 seconds. Just break it up a little bit. And you're going to take another 15-second break. You're going to do some mountain climbers. If you don't know what mountain climbers are, that little thing called YouTube, link it up. Do that for 2 minutes. These are pretty incredible. So, you know, climb those invisible mountains. Your brain deserves a little dopamine summit. And then lunges, 2 minutes. Okay. If you don't know what lunges are, look it up as well. Step forward, step backwards, basically time traveling your way to happiness. Like, that's literally what it is. And then number 7, yep, you're gonna laugh, but this is 6 minutes. Yep, you heard me, 6 minutes. Pick your favorite song or a couple of songs, and you're gonna have a dance party in your living room by yourself. And you're gonna feel silly at first, and then you're gonna start loosening up. And then you're going to realize that no one else except for you is judging you. So stop being so hard on yourself and enjoy the dance party, because it's well worth it in the end. It's going to get your heart rate jacked up. You're going to feel good. You're going to get that music going, which music is the next thing for me, is my biggest dopamine hit. If you can find a good playlist, if you... click on the link in my Instagram story, my Instagram profile grid. There is a newsletter that is titled with this Dopamine Delights on a dime, and there's a playlist in there that's my playlist. There's a couple of other ones that you can click on that are also mine, but they're my little dopamine hits. So feel free to use those, and then just click it onto a radio station from there. That usually seems to work best for me. But yeah, the music thing is something that can turn my day around in 5 seconds. So definitely find a good playlist, turn it on, and just enjoy it. Close your eyes, crank it up. I do find that is one of the happier places that I go to, is if I lie down, semi-weirdly enough. I think that you guys are starting to figure out that I'm a weirdo in some capacity. So go lie down in the grass or on the ground in some way, shape, or form. Preferably not on concrete, because hippy dippy talk here. You're not grounding yourself. So go and lie on the grass or on the beach or whatever it looks like, and put your headphones in, close your eyes, and go to your happy place. Turn your music up, don't let anyone bother you, and just enjoy it for 10 minutes. It's amazing what that'll do for you. And then this one is something that is near and dear to me quite a lot. It's something that is in my personality, and has been for a long time. Make someone else feel good. This is the dopamine double whammy, because indirectly, when you make someone else feel good, you're gonna feel good. It is one of the most selfless things to do, because if you're doing it for them and not for you, it makes you feel even better. So don't do this going, oh, well, I'm going to help someone so that I feel better. No, just be nice. Just be a good person. If someone's having a shit day, turn around and try and make them smile. Be goofy, have a little dance party. I know that some of the people that I work with, every now and then, they have down days. And that's usually when I kick it into overdrive. And that means that we're having a dance party, we're listening to good music, we're having a good time. And trust me, that is, for me, that is like the most incredible thing, is making someone else feel good, because it does. It really makes you feel nice about yourself. It makes you feel really nice about the fact that you've been able to help someone. So do it. Avoid the empty dopamine stuff, though, if you can. No, not if you can. You should. Just period. We all slip, we all fall. I understand it. I've been there, I've done that, I've got the t-shirt. Now, booze, number one, probably one of the worst dopamine crashes that you could ever have. We all know this, though. You have a great night the night before, and then the next day you crashed. You're burned, you're done, you're tired. You're anxious. Everything's just like, it's not a good look, in my opinion. It's not something that you should be craving. It's not something you should be relying on. And trust me, I relied on it for the better part of 10 years, to make me happy for 3 to 5 hours, and then spend the next 24 hours miserable. And like, it's no way to live your life. So avoid those. Any form of drugs. Try your best. On the social media thing, I'm terrible for this, but I'm trying. I've set these little reminders on my phone and stuff like that, which means that like now, it kicks me off. I'm not allowed to be on it for more than I think it's like half an hour a day per thing. So I have Facebook and Instagram. It's like half an hour or 40 minutes or whatever it is. I think it's half an hour a day. And trust me when I say that is not a lot of time. When you start realizing how much time you spend on that thing, it's pretty wild. Anyway, those are the ones. And I think something else that's like a big one that not many people talk about, is pornography. Stay away from it. It's an illusion of things that are not real in life. It's all a facade. It's all acting. It's all this. It's all that. And it's the same thing, right? It's like booze. It's like drugs. It's anything that's addictive. It makes you feel good for 5-10 minutes, whatever it looks like, and then boom, it's over. And it also, it gets rid of like your capacity to actually feel compassion and love for a physical human being in your presence. You have this inflated sense of reality, what should be according to what you've seen, and it's not right. It's not true. You're not going to have a partner that does all of these weird and wonderful things, nor do you probably want that. So leave it out as much as you can. It's not real and not very enjoyable. Just that's it. So booze, drugs, pornography, and social media, just try and leave it out as much as you can. It'll be better for you. Now, my favorite one, which is the thing that I'm sipping on right here. So, coffee. I know that this one's not free, but it's pretty affordable if you're making it at home or anything like that. Now, in order for you, in my world, so I've done quite a lot of research on this, and I've listened to a few different podcasts, one of them being Andrew Huberman, the Huberman Lab. If you ever want to go and have a look at a cool science-based podcast, he is really fantastic. So shout out to Andrew Huberman. Have a look and see. But he does one on caffeine, and one of the coolest things about this is Caffeine is an adenosine blocker. I believe that's right. So what happens is when you wake up in the morning, adenosine starts going in your brain. Now, adenosine is your energy levels. It helps regulate when you want to sleep, how tired you are, how awake you are, anything like that. So the longer that you can hold off on having your first cup of coffee, the more the adenosine is going to build in your brain. And the more the adenosine builds in your brain, the more energy you're going to have, or capacity you're going to have for energy for the rest of your day. So the ideal situation is wake up, go outside, get your sunlight, listen to some music, lying in the dirt, do your little workout, have a big glass of water, preferably with some electrolytes. I'm a big fan of the, I think it's the Ultimas. They're all vegan, keto friendly, paleo, blah, 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 blah. But they're fantastic, and the grape flavor is my favorite. Anyway, so wait as long as you can, right? But the trick is about 90 minutes is kind of where the sweet spot is for you. It's where your adenosine is built up to almost its maximum capacity for the day. And then once you layer your coffee on top of that, that means that then that's kind of where your energy levels are going to be. And it's going to rise up, but when your caffeine goes back down again, it will go back down to a higher level. Your adenosine, that is. So think of it as a building block. You take 10 steps up with your adenosine, and then you have a cup of coffee, and now you're 15 steps up, and then slowly throughout the day, it wears back off down to 10. Whereas if you wake up first thing and you have 1 step, and then you have your coffee, you then get to 6 steps, and then it brings you back down to 1, right? So the idea here is to build up your natural adenosine inside of your brain in order to prolong the effects of your caffeine and your little dopamine. So for me, these are some of the fun things that I like to do. Go outside, get some sunlight, go for a walk, have your coffee, listen to your music, kiss yourself in the mirror, because it's definitely worth it. Being happy is so much easier than being mad. It takes so much energy to be angry all the time. It takes way less energy to be happy. Trust me on that. That's my story for today. I hope that you enjoyed this one. Shout out to the Andrew Huberman for some adenosine talk, and like I say, I'm looking for any sponsors. If anyone's out there that wants to sponsor the pod, let me know. Be fun. Promoting some products. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Go and smooch yourself in the mirror. Or, do whatever it makes you happy, bud. But yeah, get your toes in the grass and get yourself happy. All right. Much love, everyone.